on by a member of the Steelers. It was the defensive coordinator, Keith Butler, talking about how Tyler Eifert is a guy that they need to stop this week, and he'll be difficult to control. He's on IR. And even the other guy named Tyler, who plays the position, he's not playing also. Rod Woodson joining us here right in the middle of our
What's going on?
Number 3 and hour number 4. Perfect timing.
They put you in that seat.
An all-time Steeler great to join us right now. So there's lots going on, to say the least. So where did it all go wrong so far for the Steelers?
When you look at their season, it's broken up into 2 parts. And you know this, Mooch, as a head coach. The first part, they were pretty good. The first 10 games, they were 7-2-1. They were playing good football. But lately, they're 1-4 of the last 5. And when you lose the close games the way they did this year, one game has been, the next game is the running game, the next time it's the defense. The last 4 games, they only have 3 takeaways, all right? And when you don't have 3 takeaways, you only have 11 sacks. You're not scoring the same points. You're not winning those close games. You set yourself up. You played the first half of the year to set yourself up for the second half. And in the second half, they just have not played well. They haven't made the plays that they had to make. And it's a combination of everybody. It's Ben, it's the defense, it's the special team, it's the running backs fumbling the ball when critical situations. They can't close those close games. And all the close games, by 6 points or less, they're 2-4-1 this year. And when you have that record with close games, it's hard to win.
Yeah, you're talking about guys that are there. I'm going to talk about a guy that's not there because they had the entire offseason. I'm not going to point any fingers at any individual because the negotiation with Lev Bell was crucial to this team's success. And you were talking players, an agent, and we're talking front office, ownership. Whoever was in that discussion, they were unable to reach an agreement with one of the premier players in the league. That's very unusual. So without this guy, without the closer, without the guy that hangs on to the ball and makes first downs in a 4-minute drill. And James Conner did a good job, but this guy is elite. They were unable to reach a decision. Most trades or most negotiations are a win-win. They should be a win-win where the team's happy, the player's happy, and on you go. This one, hate to say it, is a lose-lose because Lev Bell lost about $18 million this year. He ain't going to get it back, all right? And then the Steelers probably are going to lose a playoff berth.
So let me just jump in here real quick to try and connect these 2 dots right here. Right. Are you saying, because the number of times that I have posited what you just said, Steve, the response comes back either on Twitter or phone calls or whatever, is that Connor's numbers were even better when they were 7-2-1, and even Jalen Samuels was making some quality yards. Are you saying that what Rod was talking about, those close losses, would not have happened in the last 5 weeks had Le'Veon Bell been active?
I got to believe that a great back, not a good back, a great back would help you win 1 or 2 games in a season. And all of a sudden you win that division.
That's what great players do. Right. Great players close it out, especially on offense. It really doesn't matter what side the ball they're playing on. They make those certain plays that other players can't make. That's why they're considered great.
And I think it's also a philosophy thing, is that you have James Conner, who's been good this year, wasn't as great down the stretch. And so now is it a trust factor where you go, I don't feel quite as comfortable in a close game down the stretch turning and handing the ball to a James Conner like I did a Le'Veon Bell. I knew what Le'Veon Bell was going to give me. I knew he could carry our team late in a game. Now, maybe I'm not so sure, so now we got to throw it around a little bit. And we've had turnovers throwing the football late. We had one in Denver in a game we lost on the, 1 or 2 yard line. And so you start to wonder if all of that played into just philosophy-wise, how they did things in the past to how they did things, especially late in games this year. I don't know. It's hard to know for sure, but it sure seems like it could add up that way.
And it's been a season on a rocky road for them. Everybody always talks about let's get rid of the distractions and focus on the football field. They never had a chance to do that. Even when the Lev Bell situation comes up, then the first few games, Antonio Brown, he's upset. He's not getting the play. Okay, then we're not running the ball, and we're going to just throw the ball all over the field, and Ben Roethlisberger turning the ball over. They're losing games. Then they find James Conner, and he's running well. We're winning with him, and then they stop handing the ball back to him. They stop handing the ball off to him and gets back into this thing where they're trying to throw and lose some games. It's been a rocky season the whole year long, and it started off without that top guy, Lev Bell, back there, and this is what you got. And I thought it's a sad situation because if they get in the playoffs, if they happen somehow to get in, this team could be as dangerous as anybody. And Juju Smith-Schuster should have been the icing on the top of that cake with Lev Bell, with Antonio Brown. They got you over the hump to go to the Super Bowl. That's why I picked you this year.
Let me just ask one more question, because, again, Connor's been hurt the last few weeks, and it's been Samuels as opposed to Connor maybe backing up Lev Bell had he gotten hurt. What about the defense here? The number of times that Keenan Allen, or the scheme, or the coaching that I need to point out here, number of times that Keenan Allen, a lot of been made of the fact that he was being covered by a linebacker, that the defense is a certain way and they are not going to change come you know what or high water. I turn to you, Rod, for the answer on that.
Well, I mean, you know, statistically they've played well.
They play better.
The statistic, but it's the key moments in big games where the defense. And I looked at even last week. It was a 3rd and 4. No, when they played the Saints, it was like 4th and 7, and they ran there was trips on the right-hand side. They ran verticals with 2 and 3, and number 1 comes in on a dig, what we call dagger, and the corner doesn't squeeze with him. There's nobody who's going to be there because they ran the backside shallow. They held the backer. So the coverage rules, some of the rules that they have, I question, like, what are they exactly doing? Who's going to make that play? Because if you don't let the corner squeeze that,
And that's what they're
nobody's
saying.
ever going to make
It's
that
antiquated.
play.
Do you wonder if in this NFL that type of defense can still survive? Because I still see teams that play great defense now are teams that can rush with 4 and play coverage behind it. Pittsburgh's always been a zone blitz team. They're going to fool you. They're going to have you hold the ball, and that's how they're going to get home. In this day and age where balls get out so quickly, I sometimes wonder if that scheme where we're going to attack you and we're going to catch you off guard, if it can have the same sort of success it did back in the day when the defense, that same defense, carried them. I'm just not so sure anymore with the way the passing game has evolved in the NFL.
It's just been a crazy season from the opening week 1 tie against the Browns, Le'Veon Bell not showing up at all, them going 7-2-1, and then Bell says he's not coming the rest of the season, and you think that that's been done with?